This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly movie and TV podcast with a new episode every Thursday. And this week, we are looking at upcoming releases Man of Steel. Finally, Justin gets to talk about it. This is the End and the Bling Ring. Spoiler-free reviews of Now You See Me and After Earth are from the Outside In topic this week. What makes a great summer sequel, and what are some of the worst ones we've seen? Latest movie and TV news, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson. With me today, I'm a fellow host, Scott Clark.
Hey, what's going on, Aaron?
Not much. Brian Williams.
Good evening.
And Justin Mocumber.
I imagine when you're doing these intros that you just constantly twitch, ready for one of us to jump in and just fuck things up. Scotty, is that true?
He's shaking a little bit in his seat.
I kind of stay on my hindquarters, at all times. That's my calves, my lower extremities.
Your ready stance?
Thank you.
Your fat ass.
Did anybody see Game of Thrones this past week?
What is that?
We don't spoil anything. But I just want to say that there are people that are a-holes. Because I went all over the internet. People are talking about, recent episodes and that sort of thing. And just ruining things that happen for no reason. Why would you do that? Why do people do that?
Because you're an asshole.
Like, we don't do that. And we're assholes. So that means they're bigger assholes.
I think a lot of it is people think that, I experienced something before you did, so I somehow am better than you, and I'm going to brag that.
I don't care. I think you gotta bring it up in code or something.
Nice people do.
Morse code? Yeah, nice people do.
Yeah, right. I mean, I get the fact that, trust me, I don't know how many people that I've, my paths crossed with that I was just asking about, hey, did you see the most recent episode of Game of Thrones or what have you? And, it's like, golly, you just want to share that with somebody. And I get that feeling like you want to just talk about that and get that release. But if they haven't seen it, then
walk
shut
away.
The fuck up.
Exactly. Well, and this happened to me. I was, just being cordial. Hey, did you see last night's episode? Speaking to someone that I know watched it. And so decides to tell me, yeah, but that's nothing compared to when blank and blank die later on in this book or the next book or whenever it is. Like spoiling shit that isn't even happened yet.
You should have just slit their throat or punched them in the nuts or something, because
I don't know if you can literally do that.
I think HR would actually say, you know what, you're kind of in the right here.
It's sad though, because it's getting to the point where I almost feel like I have to read the books now to not be spoiled by the TV show, because they're going to come out so much.
It's every show. It's not just this one. I mean, this is one of the big ones,
right?
Yeah, but you're absolutely right.
And I don't feel like I should have to. If I don't, that first book is something like 1,000 pages long. I mean, I would like to read it, but I don't feel like I should have
I have
to.
no desire to read that.
I do.
There was a guy I work with who came in the night, Friday morning, after he watched the premiere of Fast and Furious 6, and then spoils the stinger during the credits.
Oh, like Justin tried to do in the review last week.
Well, he succeeded. Hopefully, luckily there's that thing called editing, which cut out some of that.
Yeah, thankfully we got editing at our disposal, or my disposal. But so what did you do? Did you punch him in the jaw?
Yeah. Luckily it's more of a it's small. It's not a national chain or anything that I work for, so it's a little more of a mom and pop. I have more ground to stand on, and the manager is he's a kind of a movie file too, so he understood.
You got that coming, son.
Yeah. And then you just kick him while he's down. Make sure he doesn't do this again.
Exactly.
Well, when it comes to social media, when somebody spoils something, I unfriend them pretty much immediately. I don't put up with it, and I don't care how close of a friend of mine you are. If you're going to go on and post spoilers about something that
instant grounds for divorce,
it is. It's instant grounds for being unfriended. And I make occasional posts letting everybody know, if you spoil shit, I'm going to unfriend you. No hard feelings, but I don't put up with spoiler discussions. And so luckily my Facebook has been really spoiler free as far as Game of Thrones goes. All I know is big shit goes down, but as to what that is, I have no idea, thankfully. So it's still a secret. I'm watching it right now thanks to Brian. I love you, Brian, so much.
Props.
So I'm watching season 3 right now, and I'm going in virginal.
Well, good. Stay away from Facebook.
Honestly, it's the best way to go in.
It is. And, one thing I really hate, and granted, I understand social media is very important. Everybody's part of it. You got to do it. It's just the way life is anymore. Facebook notifications. If you comment in a thread and it is somebody that just says, hey, did you catch this episode? That was great. And you say, yeah, it was awesome. And then some idiot, 45 comments from there, decides to say, hey, and guess what happens 14 books from now? You're going to see it because you get a notification telling you what that stupid comment was. Mm-hmm. That thing, it kind of irritates me. But there's always going to be idiots. On happier news, so the moral of the story, stop spoiling stuff because nobody likes you when you do. Yeah,
and nobody cares that you read the books.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. Impressed. We only care if you read Justin McCumber's books.
That's right.
Machete Kills. Did you guys see the teaser for that?
Yes.
I know normally we would talk about it in trailers, but we're waiting for the full trailer. I mean, it's just like a minute, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they stole that shooting bra from Leisure Suit Larry. They did that a long time ago.
I think it's been done. Didn't he do
Austin
it
Powers
in something
as well,
else?
isn't
Yeah,
it?
Austin Powers did it.
Well, they stole it from Leisure Suit Larry, too.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Who wants to see it?
Thing is, Sofia Vergara looks like she's having a pretty good time.
She looks like she would be a very good time.
She's got a lot of ammo.
Did I see the...
Oh, did I say that out loud? My bad.
What's her name? The girl from Spy Kids is in this movie.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy. I felt so bad because I watched that with my kids really small, and now she's all half naked. And I'm like, Robert Rodriguez, what is fucking wrong with you, man? Why would you put this girl you obviously raised, kind of, and put her half naked on your movie?
Huh?
I think he has secret thoughts. That's all I'm saying.
He likes Ice Age as well, is that what you're saying?
He did. August 14th, 2014. That's when it's going to happen. That's when more shit's going to blow up because Expendables 3 is hitting theaters that day. And apparently Lionsgate is in final negotiations for, get them ready, we've talked about a couple of them, Wesley Snipes, Jackie Chan, Nick Cage, and Mila Jovovich. I had no idea that one was even mentioned.
Yeah, I guess apparently they want Mila to play a sort of young Sigourney Weaver type of role, whatever that means.
That makes sense.
Ass kicker,
Yeah.
alien ass kicker.
Yeah, I mean, I hope she's a good guy.
Oh, I hope aliens pop up. That'd be fantastic.
You hope she's a good guy.
You know,
There's no more room for good guys, man.
little cat, maybe carry a little cat around with a machine gun in the other hand.
What? I don't even know what that means. What are you talking about?
Alien? You don't remember Alien?
I don't remember. Well, I don't remember her at any time carrying the cat, walking around with a machine gun at the same time.
I didn't say she did it. I said I want to see it.
Oh, I thought you said use a cat as a machine gun. I'm like, how does that work?
You stick it up its ass.
Wow.
I don't like cats, so I'm cool with
Well,
it.
you can get with Andy Samberg about that. He does a Laser Cats. Him and Bill Hader on Saturday Night Live. They used to do the Laser Cats little skits. But anyway,
Justin, you were the one least interested in this, or you really didn't like the second one? Does that kind of jack you for the third one, or you still don't?
The
want
Wesley Snipes and Mila Jovovich negotiations, sure. Nick Cage, only if they let him be free and just to be as much Nicolas Cage as he can possibly be.
Not even good Nicolas Cage or bad Nicolas Cage?
Crazy.
I want bad, crazy, screaming Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage from the what's the one
Wicker Man and
Wicker
shit.
Man?
with David Caruso? You're like early mid '90s.
Oh, the Kiss of Death.
Kiss of Death, right? Where he's the kind of mob son to the mob guy.
Oh, he's batshit crazy in that movie.
Right.
That was before he was popular, and he actually had to act.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these four actors are quality action actors. So definitely, yeah. I mean, give me more of this and less of the Steven Seagals, please. Okay, thanks, bye.
I'm surprised by the choice of Nicolas Cage, though, because he gets so much hate on the internet.
I think Stallone's tried to get him for the past two movies, and now he's free, which is surprising because you'd think he would have been free a lot.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
had to do Ghost Rider 2, and then
oh yeah, that worked out. Ridley Scott is apparently moving forward on Blade Runner 2. It's sequel week, as he just hired Michael Green, who I want to stress is most famous for writing Green Lantern. Why? That's who he hired to write this movie.
Why was he hired? I don't know.
No, I don't care why he was hired, but why would you pick this particular guy who obviously doesn't have a proven track record to make a part two to something that doesn't even need a part two?
Well, as far as needing a part 2, I agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of Blade Runner. Personally, I watched it recently for the first time, actually, within the last few years, and it was just very slow, methodical. But
with narration or without? Because like we said before, that apparently matters.
I watched the director's cut or whatever.
I don't know which version is which.
I don't know.
There's about 5.
Yeah, I can't keep them straight.
So, but this movie is beloved. I mean, a lot of people consider this to be the greatest science fiction movie of all time. So, I mean, I can see why they would make it. Why they would choose this guy, I don't know. Like you said, Green Lantern. But he did also do, I looked him up a little bit, he did a couple episodes of Heroes. He did a couple episodes of Smallville, which I know Justin is
Do we know
a
what
fan
season of Heroes? Because that matters.
Yeah, it was 2006. I can't remember when that came out.
I don't know.
But, so I don't know. I'm not clamoring for it. Justin, I can't remember. Are you a fan of it?
What?
Blade Runner?
I like it, but I don't. I don't hoist it up on the top of the sci-fi film pantheon the way a lot of people do. I also think it's a tad bit dry and a little bit plotting. I have not seen. I think the last 2 or 3 versions that have come out. I saw the theatrical, and I've seen the director's cut. I preferred the director's cut. I really, as far as the writer goes. We have no idea what he turned in to get the job.
Mm-hmm.
There are probably a lot of quality writers, myself included, who just have to be given an opportunity. Now, he did Green Lantern. I don't think Green Lantern's fault or the reasons that it didn't succeed were necessarily because of the writing. I think there were a lot of production and direction choices that could have made it better. I think he did his best to make a movie that was close to the material and yet trying to make it cinematic and theatrical. So I'm sure the guy is a good writer, all things considered, but we have no idea what went on in the interviews and meetings and shit. He could be a super Blade Runner fan and have a lot of great ideas, but at this point, what are they going to do with the Blade Runner 2? Are they going to bring back Harrison Ford? You know, he's
70 years old.
Depending on which cut you went with, he may not necessarily age.
Yeah.
Because he may have been an android. So you couldn't, unless they're having androids age, which they didn't. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with this film. I almost would have been behind a reboot at this point. And how Ridley Scott rebooting his own film, I think would have been an amazingly ballsy way to go.
Modern technology.
They're doing a Blade Runner 2, and I have no idea what they're going to do with that.
Just have more current technology, different actors.
Yeah.
Maybe go a little different direction.
Yeah, I mean, not to go down the video game road, but a little Deus Ex brought into it, some of that design, the palette, really stark black leather, a little matrixy in it. Some of its design would have been an interesting way to go instead of the rain-soaked American Tokyo design. But I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of meh on the whole thing. I wish Ridley Scott would focus on other things.
It's kind of like a classic that needs to be recast or something.
Yeah.
Somebody have to do that.
Benicio del Toro landed a lead role in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvin got shot in the face. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're keeping his role pretty quiet. People are wondering if it could be Thanos, because apparently it's going to be. They have a long-term plan for this guy.
Well, they can. I mean, when it comes to these films, though, every other character has a long-term plan for them. So, sure, he could be Thanos. He's kind of a taller guy with he's a big presence on screen. He could probably take the role. I almost wish they'd go more CGI with Thanos instead of trying to cast someone and then just completely cover them in makeup and costume and bodysuit, because Thanos is a huge character who's bipedal, but that's about as far as his humanoid appearance goes. He's in all other respects, he does not look like a human, so why waste someone of his appearance and his acting abilities under all of that? Just make it a hulky CGI type creation and move on.
Yeah, look at Guy Pearce in Prometheus. When they used him, it was such a waste of talent.
Yeah, why take someone who's really talented and then just completely obscure them? But be that as it may, he's joining what's really becoming more and more of a fantastic cast that Marvel's been putting together. I mean, they already have Glenn Close and Zoe Saldana and Michael Rooker and John C. Reilly, who have all been signed on to play roles. They've got, God, who is it in the next Captain America? We were just Robert Redford. So they're definitely going after the A-list talent. And I like to see that, because if we want our comic book movies to mature and continue to grow, then you're going to have to go outside the B-level actor box and get some A talent, and that's what they're doing, and I'm really glad to see that.
There's a lot of people clamoring to have just about any role in these movies now, because they just know it's so big. And I really think that Del Toro is actually a pretty good person to play Thanos. I mean, you've got, speaking of talent, Paul Bettany, who most people, I think his most memorable role is the Geoffrey Chaucer in A Knight's Tale,
Or Jarvis.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's all he is a voice in these movies. He plays Jarvis, the assistant, the house assistant to Iron Man.
He was in Da Vinci Code, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in Da Vinci
Wimbledon.
Code.
Yeah.
He's a good character actor. I'm sorry.
Well, he's a good actor, but I would think, though, that with him, one of his defining characteristics is that amazing voice, which is all Jarvis needs to be. I mean, sure, you can take a fantastic actor and layer them in makeup and costume, and it still works. They've done it before, but
Works for Jennifer Lawrence.
I'm just saying that if I were,
I'm
being
sorry,
called
I'll
and
be
asked
back
my
with you.
opinion, I think I would rather just go CGI with Thanos.
Well, who played him?
Maybe get a great voice actor, but I don't think a person has to play that particular role.
Well,
He's got a good jawline to play Thanos.
Wasn't he in? There was somebody that played him in the Avengers, right?
Mm-hmm. I have no idea who it was.
Does
Well, you
anybody-
saw him for like 5 seconds as he
I
turned to
understand
grin at
that.
the screen. I don't. Yeah.
He had speaking roles. I mean,
I think he was CGI.
No, he didn't speak.
No, I don't. No, he didn't speak. He just smiled and.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, that was
I
all
could've
he
swore
did.
He had a line.
I'm pretty sure he didn't speak.
I think he was like reading Hamlet.
Thanos reading. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, you
Except
like
for that.
Shakespeare?
No, I like the idea of him reading. Washed
Good
up
writing.
Washed up writing.
Yeah.
All right, if you're a Wizard of Oz fan, they're re-releasing the original. This isn't really a news item, just something I want to mention to you guys. They're re-releasing the original in 3D on IMAX screens for 1 week only, September 20th. So if you're a fan of the original Wizard of Oz, that's kind of cool. Check that out.
You mean the one with James Franco wasn't the original?
No.
Oh,
That would be the prequel.
shit! I got to do more homework on this.
Sure do,
stuff.
man. You got to do
I
some
actually wouldn't
research.
mind seeing that.
That would be. I might take my mom to see it. She would love to see that. I think on the big screen again.
But there's no anal rape in this one.
What?
I thought all the movies you took your mom to had to.
Because remember I took her to see
There's no better bonding experience than an anal rape movie with your mother.
Girl with a Dragon Tattoo was a fantastic film that she was dying to see. Stop giving me shit. All right, this does get a bit complicated, so I'm going to try and explain it. Warner Brothers wanted to stay in the Christopher Nolan business so bad, they gave up the rights to Friday the 13th films and any South Park films for 50% ownership of his next film, Interstellar, which comes out next November. Not this November, next November.
2014.
Yep, 2014. The catch is the rights revert back in 5 years. This is why China is winning. I'm just saying.
This is why China's winning.
This is why China's winning.
What-
Because of stupid shit like this. Just give them back the right. Why would it go back in 5 years? What's the point of that? Just so they can be part of Christopher Nolan's movie for. I mean, I'm glad because now I'm probably finally going to get another Jason Voorhees movie. Done by the studio that used to do them.
I'm more surprised by the prospect of another South Park film. We had one South Park film, and that was in the late 90s, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
with great music that you can't sing out loud.
Blame Canada, blame Canada.
but is that really going to happen? I could see Friday the 13th, and that actually kind of is cool. If they could reboot that without
Again.
but reboot it better.
Yeah.
With less the bigger people behind it.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. Less Michael Bay.
Re-better boot?
Re-better boot.
Re-better
Is that going to be a new phrase?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. At
is
this
now.
point, I think it should be. Everything. We're going on the third reboots of shit. So
That gets me excited for the new Chris Nolan project, though, too, if they're that excited about it.
it's, I think Ain't It Cool had a synopsis of it real quick, and the studio screamed for them to bring it down. And I caught it. It seemed kind of generic, but I think Christopher Nolan movies always appear that way until you actually see them. You know, I think there's going to be a lot more to it than what people saw in that quick synopsis. But still,
I'm betting the trailers are going to have a lot of.
Yeah, a lot of hums. A lot of hums, a lot of oming.
So those bother you, but lens flares
Pizza
are
lens
fine.
flares.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
those don't bother me.
He doesn't even see him.
Nope.
Even when they blind him out of the fucking theater, he doesn't see lens flare.
Don't see them.
Even when a guy's in the shower.
People are talking about. I watched Star Trek Into Darkness for the third time. Still didn't see him.
I don't know what flashes you guys are freaking talking about.
There's no.
Wish y'all would shut up.
I even watched a YouTube compilation. I still didn't see him. All those people are crazy.
It's kind of like those 3D pictures they used to have at the malls where you stand there long enough.
It's a sailboat.
It's a schooner, you
it's a
dumbass.
schooner. I never saw those either. Maybe you have to be able to see those boats or whatever to see these lens flares.
It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat, dumbass.
Wow.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park.
Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
All right, put your teeth back in. This week we got two movies that cover serious topics, confining children in water tanks and kidnapping orcas. But I might have that backwards. First up is a documentary called Blackfish about places kind of like SeaWorld and the effects they have on their captives. Specifically, in this case, a killer whale by the name of Tilikum. Blackfish explores the heart-wrenching treatment of Tilikum, who has killed 3 people, including a top-notch trainer. And through interviews with trainers and other experts, as they shed light on the misleading and endangering practices of the sea park industry, and explore why we feel the need to capture and imprison these majestic creatures just for human entertainment. Now, Aaron, I know a few years ago you went down to Disney World and stuff. Did you do the SeaWorld thing too? Or
I did. I've taken my kids, and actually, I am one.
So you're contributing to this.
No. Let me tell you. I always refuse to take my kids to zoos, shit like this. I'm okay with aquariums, I guess, because fish are stupid. But I hated caged animals and that sort of thing. My daughter begged me to go to SeaWorld. Loves dolphins. I'm like, all right, but I hate it, but I'll go. Which is, that's fair. I hate everything. So we go to SeaWorld. I just wanted to punch people left and right. These animals, you've got a killer whale in a tiny-ass tank. And I'm sorry, they can tell me how comfortable that fucking thing is all day long. It is not comfortable. There's no way that animal that is used to being, in 6,500 miles of square space to coming into this tank that's about 2,300 feet. There's no way he's having a good time. And the movie is kind of going over where one of the killer whales ate the trainer. And, of course, as a lot of people blame the whale at the time, this kind of looks at the practices of capturing them, what it does from taking them out of the wild and putting them into this. It kind of broke my heart, honestly, just watching the trailer. I really can't wait to see this, and I'm not a big documentary guy.
Yeah, I really want to see this too. I've always loved marine mammals and stuff.
You feel a kinship with the whales?
I do. I don't know. Maybe it was that awesome flick called Orca years ago with This is one of those that does strike a chord with me. I couldn't agree with you more, Aaron. I hate this stuff. I hate these SeaWorld type sea parks and stuff that I just don't know why we even have them anymore.
No,
but
well,
people
yeah.
people are paying, big money to go see these events, and I get the allure. I just wish we could get away from it. I think it's time to move on to let these things live in where they're supposed to.
And before you go, Justin, I just want to say, dolphins are a very docile creature. I understand to a degree why dolphins would be in there, because I think dolphins are very people friendly. They seem to enjoy being around people. Even if you're out on a boat on the ocean, dolphins will often just come up to the boat. They love people. They're friendly animals. The other one happens to be called a killer fucking whale. I don't think it's meant to be hanging around the house.
Even if the dolphin gets aggressive, chances are it's not swallowing you.
No. It's going to bounce a beach ball straight at your head. That's about the most damage you're going to take. I'm sorry, Justin.
I don't even like to see dolphins in these sorts of environments, but killer whales especially, I mean, they are such large creatures, and to pull them from their natural habitat, slap them into these small tanks. I mean, part of the trailer, they talk about the areas where they hold them in, just being like 20-something feet by 30 feet and dark. These animals they're known to be highly intelligent creatures. We're not talking about a fish that has no more mind than your average bug, that it's all eat, procreate, sleep, and then wake up. But granted, that's mostly what my mind does. These are highly intelligent creatures that you are now taking from their home, putting them in an area that is completely alien and unsuited to them, and then forcing them to learn all these tricks. It's no wonder that occasionally they just don't go batshit crazy or finally find their moment and turn the tables on the people who are doing this to them. Whales they're beautiful animals, and that causes people to mistake what they really are, and they are still animals. It's like when Siegfried and Roy got bit by their fucking tigers. They're animals, people. It doesn't matter how tame you think they are. They are still animals.
Right.
And
Even if these animals are doing an act that they feel is even protecting you, it can still fucking kill you.
yes, you cannot breed out the wild out of an animal, especially just one you pulled out of the ocean. I hate it, and I want. This is one of those documentaries that I want to see, but I know that it's going to make me furious.
I'm going to cry. I can promise you that.
Let's move on to
Yeah.
kids.
All right,
I can handle fucking kids.
Let's go to something
Right.
happier. Let's go to kids.
Fuck
happy.
humans. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. So on a not so brighter note, Hugh Jackman headlines Prisoners, about two couples whom, they let their kids go outside and play, as a lot of parents will do. But
No, I never did that, but go ahead.
well, they only had like 12 feet of rope to run to. So
Exactly.
But anyway, they let their kids go out and play, only to have them kidnapped by an alleged guy in an RV. So the upset and emotional father, who's played by Hugh Jackman, then sets out for his own justice, out on his own, and once he feels the police have not done enough to find his daughter, kidnaps the primary suspect to get the answers he's looking for. So this parent's worst nightmare story also stars Terrence Howard, Paul Dano, Jake Gyllenhaal, and a slew of other people, and opens up September 20th. So, Justin, how does this one grab you?
It doesn't. There's just something about it. I went into it. It's got all the actors that I really enjoy, and by the time the trailer was over with, I was just kind of like, all right. I didn't feel like there was enough drama in it
Motion.
for me. It's like you can see that Hugh Jackman, okay, he's going to go all balls out. He's going to get his answers one way or another. But I didn't feel that big sense of, like Michael Douglas in Falling Down. I didn't get that feeling of this is a man out on a mission who will do whatever it takes to find his child. It was like it was stepping out of the door, but just didn't quite put that foot down. Maybe that doesn't even make sense to you guys, but it didn't really do anything for me. I was kind of surprised.
It makes sense, but I think we're also not seeing a whole lot. I think they're doing actually a good job of not showing us the things that we really want to see in this trailer. I'm excited. I think it looks very intriguing. I went into this trailer knowing nothing about it, and when I saw the names of the cast members before going into it, I was kind of hoping, and I was a little disappointed that Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't the villain, because I kind of want to see him play a bad guy role for once. And then when I saw it was Paul Dano, I got a little more excited because he's really interesting to watch.
Is that the Breaking Bad guy?
No, that's Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was trying to
There Will Be
pinpoint who this guy was. I'm like, I know I've seen him, and
Yeah.
now I don't know where I've seen him.
But he always plays that kind of meek guy that kind of explodes to some degree, and where now he's playing that creepy child abductor. That looks like that could be really interesting. I'm excited to see it. Ever since movies like Taken, where, what will a dad do to protect or save their
Yeah.
child? That's kind of what I'm expecting, and I'm hoping that we're just not seeing enough from this trailer.
I'll be honest. Taken as a movie I wish I could do, this is shit I would do. I mean, if it was my kids and kidnapped or dead, whichever it was, and I thought I knew who it was, I would torture the fuck out of them.
Even if it was your son they took?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
obviously,
even
I
my
don't
son. No, I love
For your
both
daughter,
my kids.
you would. I could see that.
I
but
would
your
torture people for both my children.
son?
I love them equally.
Oh, okay.
I just look at this and go,
Way to try to start a family fight, though. So my son listens. He's like, "Oh, why don't you love me?"
I don't know, son. I don't know.
I would take a lobe for you, son. I mean, I'd take the whole head for your sister, but I'd take a lobe for you.
Wait, what?
Lobe, your lobe.
you would take a.
Oh,
your-
they
Oh,
said load.
I thought you said
load?
load. Take a load, not the head, but the load.
Oh, geez. I know you've taken a load for bus fare one time, but I can only imagine, of course, you would take one for one of your kids.
Okay, so good movie. You're looking forward to it. Move on.
Oh, wow.
Awkward.
Just for you. Watch these trailers. Watch these trailers and those from recent episodes over at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. That's kind of like our homepage and stuff. Let us know if you got anything you want us to talk about. There's a number of ways of getting in touch with us. Get us up on Twitter at H_outsider. Go on to Facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. Let us know anything you want. Jesus. Leave us a message or send us a text at 818-814-6246, otherwise known as 818-81 I'm a ho. And of course, you can also email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Dang, boy, that was smooth, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was. Good job, Brian.
Wow.
Stump the Hoe.
Stump the Hoe. Each week, one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts and attempt to stump their fellow hoes as well as you listening. And this week, it is Justin's turn. Justin, stump us.
All right. Well, here in just about a minute or two, we are going to be hearing a review of Now You See Me. My question concerns that film. During production, one of the actors fell asleep in their dressing room and didn't hear when the director closed everything down for the day, effectively locking them in their dressing room overnight, not to be released until the following day when someone heard their cries for help. Which of the actors in that film was it? Was it A, Michael Caine, B, Woody Harrelson, C, Mark Ruffalo, or D, Morgan Freeman?
You're throwing this out there because Morgan Freeman got busted falling asleep in an interview. Son of a bitch.
I have a question.
Hey,
Does the falling
Aaron, go.
I'm going to go with Mark Ruffalo. Just to be different, because I think Morgan Freeman's a trap.
Scotty?
important question: does the falling asleep have anything to do with alcohol?
You don't get to fucking narrow this shit down. You get the wording, you get the answers. No.
All right. Then I'm going to say Woody Harrelson anyway.
Okay. And Brian?
I'm going to go with Woody Harrelson. I'm going to say he has some good Maui stuff that he grows out yonder. So,
Oh, damn it. Good
Yeah.
call.
It's a good
he
spliff.
probably hit it a little bit hard before an interview or something, or by the end of the day. So,
All right. Well, the answer is A, Michael Caine.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I
they
know.
probably
fell
just thought he
asleep.
was dead.
They probably did.
So Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine just sleep everywhere they go. That's
Pretty
basically
much. Like
When you
90.
reach a certain age, and you got to get all the sleep in you can.
That's true. Yeah. All right, now let's go to
But
the.
yeah, I threw in Mark Ruffalo and or Woody Harrelson and Morgan Freeman as Dodges, and they worked.
They sure
Oh,
did.
gosh, those red herrings. Oh,
Now let's go to the big screen. We're going to review Now You See Me. Myself, Brian, and Scott saw this one. Here's what it's about. 4 street magicians, played by Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Isla. Is it Isla? Isla?
Isla.
Isla?
Isla.
Oh.
Is it really Isla?
It's like Island, just without the and.
All right. Isla Fisher and Dave Franco are brought together by a mysterious backer who gives these guys the tools to take their the magic to an epic level. Cut to like a year later, and they're now bankrolled by Michael Caine, which is awesome. And they use their various tricks, magic, reading, sleight of hand, to pull off a bank heist on the other side of the world at the same time as they perform in Las Vegas. Sounds awesome. This, of course, brings in the FBI, whose top agent is played by Mark Ruffalo, and Interpol's Melanie Laurent, because she's French. She got a little thing over her E. to find out what the hell is going on. They bring in magic debunker Morgan Freeman to find out what truly happened. And with the musicians having 2 more tricks up their sleeves.
Musicians?
Magicians is what I meant to say.
He's Canadian, so.
Oh, yeah, eh? They got 2 more tricks up their sleeve. So they have to bring these people in to get to the bottom of what's going to happen. Now, Scott, nobody can make a woman disappear faster than you.
Whoa, nice.
So, did you find this?
Nice.
Did you find this story magical, or is it more like Chris Angel, all style, no substance?
A little bit of both. I actually really liked the story, but I felt like most of the story was in the trailer, except for some few minor things that were included in the very beginning. Like you said, the mystery person that was like that hired them. Basically, that was kind of left out. But basically, all the fun stuff was in the trailer. So
That's true.
There weren't
That's
a whole
true.
lot of big surprises. Sadly, it was. Even I figured it out. If I figured it out the end of this movie.
Can't imagine it's going to be that hard for everybody else.
So the tricks were fun. I wanted to ask you guys, that opening card trick that he did I get you?
Yeah, it got me.
It got me too, and
Yeah.
that's crazy because I wasn't expecting it to really get me, but it did. There's things in the story that reminded me. You and I actually went to Vegas a while ago and saw Penn and Teller.
Yeah, we did. And apparently it wasn't sexy enough for you, but we went. Yeah.
It wasn't sexy enough.
Yeah, because you wanted more danger and more hangover action.
Oh, yeah.
Why didn't we have a tiger in our room, Aaron?
Anyway, we saw the Penn and Teller show there, and there was a lot of things that they talked about, because the Penn and Teller show is interesting because they explain about misdirection and
Yes,
and about a
very
lot
much
of
so.
the mind mess stuff. So I was really reminiscent of that. I really did like that, but it wasn't great. It was good. It was one that we talked about how it kind of not came out of nowhere, but none of us saw it until like 2 months before it came out or something like that. I kind of wish I hadn't have seen trailers for it until like a couple weeks before. I think it would have been more fresh, but I started seeing
I got
the
you, because
trailers
you've seen so
much.
many trailers, because
Yeah.
they played it in a lot of movies.
Right.
What about you, Brian?
I liked it. I mean, apparently I'm an idiot. I didn't have it figured out, at the as far as the the big twist or whatever. So I'm apparently one of the 3 people in the world that didn't figure it out.
I wouldn't go that far. There's a lot of people that didn't figure it out.
Oh, okay, so there's maybe 8 of us. No, I thought it was a good story. I love a caper movie. And the magician type stuff kind of plays well into those kinds of movies. It was kind of it was nice to have. It was kind of a refreshing, fun movie. Nice change of pace from all the even though there was some CGI in this, the CGI filled superhero movies or science fiction movies, that kind of stuff. So it was a good kind of change of pace type of movie.
Yeah.
And it was, I would say that I saw the ending, maybe probably 70% of it or 80% of it, but the last little bit, there was an extra little twist at the end that I kind of liked. So
It was the story's. I mean, it's clever. I thought the ending was a little weak. That's the only part where I was kind of, But I really like the tricks that are involved. Some of the magic is really cool, and all 3 of the personalities I found riveting. Dave Franco didn't really do much for me. His lisp just drives me crazy.
Plus, he looks so much like his brother.
yeah,
He
exactly.
does. It's kind of hard not to think
going,
he's James Franco.
Dang, he looks like James Franco.
Now, what did you guys think about the acting? The biggest thing to me was Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson from Zombieland back together. Those 2 are fantastic together. I mean, I don't even think they're just good. I think they're fantastic together. Were you
They got
happy to
great
see?
chemistry.
Yeah, were you happy to see them back together? And also, when did Jesse Eisenberg suddenly become a good-looking dude?
We got that soul patch.
Yeah, he got like a soul patch, and he got his hair did. And fucker, look, like he was at one point, I actually stopped and went, "You're a good-looking guy." When did that happen?
Yeah, I was thinking about Isla Fisher, but
Oh yeah, she's in it too. Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher.
Were you guys happy to see those 2 back together?
I don't know if it's so much happy to see them back together. To me, when I see them together, it's almost distracting because I think I can't help but think of Zombieland. I do. I mean, I like both of them, I think they've got great chemistry together. And I think that, of course, I'm sure that had a major play in this. So, it was. I thought the acting was pretty good. I like Michael Caine. I don't know what it was about him. He was kind of an a-hole.
Yeah,
He's a good a-hole.
Yeah.
I thought Morgan Freeman was just okay.
Yeah,
Like,
he kind of showed up. He's doing. You know what he does now is he just shows up and plays Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, like
He's become Bruce Willis of his generation. That's really what he is. He just shows up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm here to play Morgan Freeman. I don't have time to play anybody but Morgan Freeman."
yeah.
No, there's no Andy Dufresne here. Nope.
I remember the first time I saw Andy. Common.
I'll tell you what, I do like Mark Ruffalo. I do like his role. I think he gets so wound up a few times in this movie that you just kind of feel his frustration and his just pissed offiness.
Scott, Brian accidentally cut you off. Or
fine.
intentionally, I'm not sure which.
Common keeps popping up. Common keeps popping up in movies here and there too. It just looked like these tiny roles. He had a very small role in this movie too, and I kind of want to see more of him. He's not like a fantastic actor, but he's got a presence.
Who's that?
Common. He's a rap artist.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And he's got this powerful presence about him.
He's actually not bad. Yeah, he's not bad.
I'd like
You
to
should
see
see him
him
in Hell on Wheels, the AMC TV show.
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although out of all these actors, the fact that you mentioned Common kind of cracks me up. But
He's no RZA.
yeah, nobody's the RZA. What about the one thing about Isla?
Isla?
That's a stupid name.
So dumb.
I love her, and she's good here. But I wish they would have let her be herself a little bit more and loosen up. Because I feel like she's a little tied down to the script in this. Because she's a really, really gifted comedian, really is. And I just wish she could have brought a little bit more of her personality to the role. That's the only thing where I would have gotten a little bit more from her. But
You do know she's not really that crazy girl from Wedding Crashers.
Yeah,
yes, I've seen her in plenty of interviews and stuff. She's a very, very funny, very clever woman. And those three together, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, and her, I thought were great showmen. I mean, they really seemed like true magicians. Like everything they did, and I'm sorry, I said like 4 times in a sentence. Every time they were on stage, I was riveted. If they were in Vegas, I would have been clapping my hands, playing right along with the audience. The only one I didn't like, Dave Franco. I just think when you have the other three who just make you gawk with amazement, he feels like that redheaded stepchild.
He felt kind of tacked on.
Yeah, he did, and he felt like he really wants to be part of the gang, but he just can't get in.
See, I think with those other three, you almost have to have somebody who's more bland, just to kind of, I don't know. I just kind of felt like his genericness, which just kind of worked with the rest of those other three.
Now, how did you think that director Louis Leterrier?
Leterrier?
No, Leterrier. He's French. Did. On a side note, before you actually get into that, did you guys know that he also directed The Incredible Hulk and is now directing Mark Ruffalo, who's now playing The Incredible Hulk? Just saying. 6 degrees of Marvel here.
Didn't I mention the Hulk last week when I talked about this film?
I'm sorry. We
believe
don't.
You did.
I don't recall that. We're talking about my part now. So this is me. It's not you now. It's me.
No, Aaron, I did not know that.
See? Genius fucking trivia. Did you know that, Justin?
Fuck you.
But what did you guys think of the direction? I mean, this is a movie that's a lot of visual cues. There's no character development. I mean, 0. So it's all visual cues.
I thought it was shot pleasant enough. I mean, like you said, it was visual cues, but this is a movie that has a story based on misdirection, and I feel like there was a lot of that put into it as well. We're supposed to be drawn to certain things instead of the characters. You know what I mean? This movie is showcased to be about these 4 horsemen, the 4 magicians, and I feel like we see them least.
I would agree with that.
Entire
actually,
movie.
Yeah,
and
you don't see them very much.
The trailer was a little misleading because there was very little of them, and I kind of wanted, like you said, the 2 of them, especially Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson, and Isla Fisher for that matter. They were really interesting to watch on screen, and I kept wanting to go back to that instead of the let's figure out how this was done and that kind of thing. So,
I just think that you almost, if you spend the way this movie is a 2-hour movie as it is with very minimal character development. You get an intro in the first 15 minutes or so with like a little minimal backstory for all of them, and then it's bam, a year later, and then it's the caper.
Best buds.
I kind of like that because there's so much with all the sleight of hand stuff and all the different things that are set up. You don't have time to give much more character development. You're looking at a 3-hour movie.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So overall, what's your verdict? I mean, I'm sorry.
One more thing I want to say
sure.
too, just because me and Justin are big music guys in movies, especially scores. I think this is one of the most mediocre scores I've heard in a movie.
Yeah,
in
it's
a
pretty
long
like
time.
action thriller generic.
Very, very generic, and it doesn't seem to fit with the vibe of the movie. Like the music from the trailer seemed to fit better than the movie itself, but it just felt really out of place. I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of it.
I mean, I thought it worked fine, but it was definitely generic music.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So overall verdict, what do you think, Scott?
Enjoyable movie. Would have been more surprised if I had not seen so many trailers of it, but I would still recommend it. I gave it a 550 actually.
And Brian?
Dang. God, that was... Ooh. Sounded like you hated it.
550 is not a hate. You guys have got to break this down into stars so you understand what it means.
It's not something that I would. It's not something that I would go see again. I wouldn't even rent it again. I mean, it's something I'd say, hey, check it out.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend time to watch it again.
All right. What about you, B?
Right. I actually enjoyed it. I had a great time with it. It was fun. Like I said, it was lighthearted. It wasn't too serious. There's some good twists, some neat tricks, and I had a lot of fun with it. 7.5.
Oh, he's like, I'm going to throw a half in. Fuck Scott.
That's right.
Movie's not deep. Sincerely, when I said there's zero character development, there is none. There is no growth throughout the course of the movie. But it's definitely fun. Good performances all around, except for Dave Franco. 7 out of 10. $7. So we liked it.
Right.
Scott says he liked it. We're not sure. Justin, let's go to After Earth.
It starts off telling you that basically the happening happened. The Earth has gone rogue on us, and humans have now had to flee the Earth to find a new home. 1,000 years later, their new home, Nova Prime, is attacked by an alien race called the Skrill. And the Skrill's big weapon is the Ursas, which are large predators that hunt humans by sensing their fear. The Rangers struggle against them until Cypher, played by Will Smith, learns how to completely suppress his fear, a technique called ghosting. His relationship with his son is rather strained. You find out more about why that relationship is strained throughout the course of the film. But to get a closer relationship with his son, he decides to take him along on his next outing. Of course, you've watched the trailer, so you know shit goes bad real quick. They end up back on Earth 1,000 years after it was abandoned. Now it's a much more dangerous place than when we left it. Jaden has to go off and find a beacon in order to save both him and his father. Aaron, you went and saw this. Did you find the story of this movie compelling, interesting, worthy of being turned into a film?
I do want to say, I realize that every critic in the world has bashed the shit out of this movie. I think it's at, 13% on Rotten Tomatoes or something?
Yes.
I mean, horrible reviews. It's supposed to be leading the Razzies already halfway into the year. I mean,
Really?
Yeah. If you listen to when we talked about it, I have no intentions of seeing it. I had nothing but hate for it. M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong, can't stand that motherfucker. Jaden Smith, I just don't like. I love Will Smith, but I'm sorry. Just because he had a kid doesn't mean I have to like him. And I went and saw this. The story's very generic. It's very by the numbers. I mean, like Justin just explained, it's not hard. Entire movie is we crash land, we've got to get a beacon, and he's got to get from point A to point B. That's the entire movie. But I liked it. I honestly liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it. I don't care that critics hate it, and I'm not going to be an apologist for M. Night Shyamalan because I still don't think he's a great director. But he helmed the movie, and I did enjoy it. It is generic, though. There's no arguing. You can't really claim that this movie is anything more than it is. There has been some talk, and Justin, we talked about this briefly before the show, people comparing the story to Scientology for some reason. I didn't see any of that. I think fear is a pretty prominent subject of many movies. I don't think it's new just to Tom Cruise fans. So did that bother you at all?
No. I mean, the whole idea of suppressing fear and through that finding a better part of you, a more victorious part, that's been a part of our culture long before L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology ever grabbed a hold of it. So I think that's people grasping at reasons to throw shit at the movie. And yeah, frankly speaking, people calling this film, and I know the Wall Street Journal's review of this, the title of it was, "Is this the worst film ever made?" That is absolutely ridiculous. There are so many worse movies
like Cloud Atlas
that have been made.
Don't start.
I'm not even going to fucking acknowledge you said that. There are terrible movies made every year. M. Night Shyamalan has made worse films than this.
He's made most of them.
But people, I think so many people now have just developed a knee-jerk reaction to his name that just knowing he's a part of something, you go ahead and deduct a certain number of points. Whether or not it's actually good is beside the point. They just want to hate M. Night Shyamalan. But it's not a badly made film. It's not a bad-looking film. It's not even really a badly acted film. It's just kind of meh. As far as the story goes, I really didn't care for it that much. As a sci-fi fan, I found so many areas lacking in the story. They go into a lot of things about Will Smith's past and his son's past and a daughter that they lost. I didn't think that whole daughter storyline was even necessary. I think the universe has definite possibilities. I know they've talked about making books and some other kind of extended universe aspects of this movie to kind of carry it, beyond just the film. There's some possibilities there, but this film really kind of let a lot of that down for me. Mm-hmm. But let's get into what really kind of let it down for maybe a lot of people. Let's go into the acting a bit. There are a lot of actors in this film, but there's really only two that you need to worry about. Will Smith and his son. What did you think of the acting? Were you impressed with, young Jaden Smith? Did you feel like he was worth all the hate people have been giving him?
I think he does great when he stops talking. I just don't think he delivers lines well. He's actually very good at displaying emotion. He has Jean-Claude Van Damme syndrome, which is
Van Damage.
Van Damage. He has Van Damage because Van Damme, when he's doing a movie, if you go see any one of Van Damme's older movies, or he displays great facial expressions, and he can display sadness and that sort of thing. He has great range when it comes to just physically emoting. But when he speaks a line, it sounds retarded, and that's kind of how Jaden Smith is. He just sounds not retarded, but he just sounds like he's reading it off a script and he's trying to act. Now, when he looks or he gives the glance and whatnot, I think he does a great job. But as soon as he talks, he loses me. Thankfully, most of the movie, he doesn't have to talk because he's running around. He's trying to do this or that. So, I don't think he excelled, but I think he maintained the entertainment factor for me. Will Smith, I actually was very impressed with. I thought he did a great job. Fuck the haters. They're saying he didn't bring his charisma. It's not a charismatic role. It's not meant to be. And honestly, even when the guy's trying not to be charismatic, he is more charismatic than most actors I know. So I thought he did a great job.
Will Smith is one of those actors that he is so great when he can be comedic, and he brings a lot of charisma, like you said, to the screen, especially when he gets to employ his comedic chops, which I think he's one of the funniest actors working out there today.
Absolutely.
He gets to employ none of that. There's nothing light, and not every movie has to be a comedy, but at least have occasional moments of levity to break up this unending feeling of blah, 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 blah drama. Be that as it may, Jaden Smith, I think he's physically a good actor, and he does have the face you're talking about that can bring an emotion up on it. But as soon as he opens his mouth and starts talking, especially in one moment where he gets incredibly emotional, his voice just starts cracking, and it sounds like his boys ain't quite dropped yet. So it's really high pitched, really cracky, and so instead of being dramatic, for me it was kind of humorous, but not in a good way. But production-wise, this film was a pretty good-looking film. Did you find M. Night's direction too up front? Did you really feel his presence in the movie?
I don't think his problem has been in his ability to shoot shit. It's that he can't tell a decent story to save his life. He just can't. The story is so simple, it's almost paint by numbers, so he gets it down fine. But he didn't impress me or anything. I wouldn't say this is a wonderfully directed film. I think it was an averagely directed film. I think anybody could have directed this movie.
Competent.
Yes. Any competent director could have, even fairly competent, could have done it. I thought it was a very interesting world. It was basically just Earth now with animals that are a little angrier.
After Earth.
Pretty
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, the direction competent. Special effects, they were good. What I did really enjoy about the movie is the production design. There was a definite feeling of an organic technology that this movie had. The ship almost had an organic feel to it. I almost felt like in some instances I was watching Farscape because it had so much of an organic feel to it. I did personally think the animals looked a little bit too evolved. I mean, the condor or whatever that bird was 2 or 3 times as big as they are now. Some of the big cats were a little bit too big. And that's a small point to beat up the film about. There are other issues to get to before that one. I guess that's really all we need to say about the film. What's your verdict on it? $1 out of 10. What would you pay to see this movie?
What's that?
You sure that was all there is to say?
Oh, well, no, there is one more thing.
Okay.
No.
We got it all covered.
Okay, Scotty brought up scores earlier. This movie has an amazing score.
It does have a good score.
Fantastic score.
Okay, now he's good.
Now it's all been said.
I wanted to hate this movie more than everybody. I mean, I said it over and over.
I can't believe you went and saw it.
I only went and saw it because I had plans to cancel at the last minute. And I'm like, well, I could be sitting here at home doing nothing, or I could go see After Earth. I still don't like Jaden, still don't like M. Night. Will Smith remains very solid in my eyes. I give it 5.5 out of 10. I actually was entertained.
I went into it with very little bias. I'm not an M. Night hater. I'm not a Jaden Smith hater. I knew it was probably going to be a little disappointing, but I wanted to let the film speak for itself. It did, and it was kind of average in all respects. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It's not terrible. It's certainly worth a watching, but don't... It's certainly. I think Oblivion is head and shoulders better than this film was
by far. But the one thing it does better than most movies, it's only an hour and a half long. It actually
thank
cuts
God.
a lot of fat. So,
and there's no twist ending.
Yeah, there's no twist. M. Night gave that up. Now let's go to box office. Fast and Furious 6 stayed in first place with $35 million for $171 million total. It's already like over $500 million worldwide. It's going to hit $600 million before you probably listen to this, honestly. So. Congratulations, man. They have reason to make a 7th, I hear.
And 8th.
And 8th and 9th and 10th. Now You See Me surprised everybody and opened in second place with $29.2 million.
Surprised them good or surprised them
good?
bad?
Everybody thought that it was going to make less than $20 million. So, I mean, it
good.
Kind of surprised people. And actually beat Will Smith. It's Will Smith. People are calling it a flop. It made $27.5 million after Earth did. But most of his sci-fi summer movies, this is the lowest grossing opening weekend for any of them. So,
yeah, but when you spend $130 million making it,
yeah, that's where it
27 is pretty low.
Will Smith is huge overseas. I expect the movie will be fine when it's all said and done. Star Trek Into Darkness dropped 55% to $16.7 million. It's made $181 million. It's a little ways behind the last Star Trek, but it should get it'll cross $200 million. Epic
it still holds up under a third viewing.
Epic is $16.6 million for $65 million total. Wait, it's dropping fast, so it'll be gone
Good.
too. Hangover Part 3 dropped 60% to $16 million, made $88 million. That's $100 million less than the last movie made at this point. That's not doing well.
Yikes. All right, folks, so we have got 3 films coming up on June 14th. The first one, The Bling Ring, Bling Bling, is a comedy... is a crime drama based on true events.
See, it sucks being in my world, doesn't it?
I'm telling you. Directed, written, and produced by Sofia Coppola. It stars Emma Watson, Taissa Farmiga, and Leslie Mann, as well as newcomers Israel Broussard, Katie Chang, and Georgia Rock. I knew one of those, maybe 2 of those names. Inspired by actual events, a group of fame-obsessed teenagers known as the Bling Ring used the internet to track celebrities' whereabouts in order to rob their homes. Victims included Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, Morgan Fox. I got Morgan Freeman in my brain. Megan Fox, Rachel Bilson, Orlando Bloom, and Miranda Kerr. Brian, this movie's plot's similar to your crime spree through the backstage rooms of hair metal bands back during the summer of '86.
Oh,
when you tracked Rat, Cinderella, and Motley Crue through Kerrang! Magazine. Are you interested in seeing a slightly less hairsprayed version of that in theaters?
Oh, wow. No. No. I lived it, man. What can I say? Hollywood can't touch reality. So,
What about the rest of you?
God, no.
Hermione stole my shit. That's all I kept thinking watching the trailer. I've actually heard this is a decent movie, but yeah, that's a video. Obviously I am not the target demographic, but
yeah, there's things in this movie that just make me angry.
Makes you angry? What makes you angry?
Just the celebrity aspect of people like
this is a true story. You know that, right?
I know, but like the fact that we worship people like Paris Hilton, I just see the shots of closets of hundreds and hundreds of pairs of shoes, and we worship these people, and that just frustrates me.
Yeah, but in this movie they're getting robbed.
They're not going to get away with it. I'm assuming.
Obviously, they were busted because they made a movie about them.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I get it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on.
I like Sofia Coppola, so I'm interested, but yeah, it's definitely a rental. Speaking of Hermione stealing our shit, This Is the End, an apocalyptic comedy directed by Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, and written by Rogen, Goldberg, and Jason Stone. The film stars James Franco, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, Danny McBride, and Craig Robinson as fictional versions of themselves in the aftermath of a global apocalypse. They must face the true meaning of friendship and redemption as the world ends around them. Scotty, I think if we had to endure the end of the world, we could do a lot worse than experience it with the likes of Kenny Powers. Do you want to see this film, or would you rather get smashed by an asteroid first?
I kind of want to see it, but I don't want to see it in the theater. I love the idea that they make a movie about actors playing themselves instead of other characters. Mm-hmm. They're actually referring to themselves as their actors' names. That's kind of clever. But this reminds me of The Watch, like a reality version of The Watch.
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna be raunchy. It's gonna be trying too hard.
Now this looks head and shoulders above The Watch.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but I think I would be more excited about it if I hadn't seen The Watch.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like,
kind of.
It's not the same story, but it's gonna be that kind of trying.
I think it looks fucking fantastic.
I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong.
And I don't even like going to the theaters for most comedies. I absolutely cannot wait to see it.
Really?
I think it looks fucking hysterical. Anytime you get celebrities making fun of themselves, I'm all for it. Because thank God, at least they stopped and realized we're not as cool as we think we are. You know? And I just love it. Plus Hermione steals our shit. That's genius.
I'll tell you, Jay Baruchel is actually one of the probably more underrated comedic writers that's out there right now. Seth Rogen and Zach Galifianakis really kind of get a lot of hype about it, but I think Jay Baruchel is hysterical. I want to see it, but I don't know if I'm going to rush out to see it. I'm in between you and Scott right here.
Ooh, that sounds sexy.
That's called sandwich.
It's called a manwich.
Oh, stepped into that one. Oh man, yeah. I want to see it, but I'm not dying to see it.
To me, this looks like one of those movies that you'd want to see with a group of people, because the laughs and the jokes, I think, would be funnier when you've got that many people laughing with it, with you,
any comedy,
and the actors. I actually wouldn't mind seeing this in theaters just for that communal aspect of the comedy.
Mm-hmm. All right, what else is out? I hear there's another movie coming out.
Oh, hold on. Let me look at my list again. The Bling Ring. This is the end. Oh, right. Man of Steel.
What's that about?
It's a little-known comic book film directed by some guy named Zack Snyder and produced by a newcomer, Christopher Newland? Newland?
Didn't Snyder direct that Crazy Chicks in the Mental Hospital movie?
Sucker Punch?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I just rewatched that recently.
It's scripted by David Goyer, who also wrote the Blade films, the Batman films. Pretty much he's the go-to superhero guy. Based on the DC Comics character Superman, the film will be a reboot of the film series portraying the character's origin story. It stars Henry Cavill in the title role, with Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Michael Shannon as General Zod, Diane Lane as Martha Kent, Kevin Costner as Jonathan Kent, Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White, and Russell Crowe playing Jor-El. Clark Kent is an alien whom, after being transported to Earth from the dying planet of Krypton, is adopted by Jonathan and Martha Kent. Raised with the values of his adoptive parents, he feels alienated because of his unique superpowers and struggles to find his own place in life. When the world is attacked, he becomes a hero named Superman to protect the Earth and its people. Aaron, I'll keep this uncharacteristically short and sweet. Will you believe a man can fly?
Oh, I'll be honest. When this was first announced, I was extremely skeptical because I was not a fan of Superman Returns, and I'm not trying to knock it, Justin. It just did not work for me. So when they said they were going to do another reboot of it, I'm like, whoa, that's going to be great. And Zack Snyder, great, because I love Sucker Punch, which I didn't. That's sarcasm. I was not excited about it at all. Couldn't care less. Didn't care. Then the trailer started coming out, and they start doing trailers the way the trailers should be, which is we'll show you bits and clips, but we're not going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Then you start seeing more of Zod as the movie came closer and closer. You never saw it in the old trailers. Now I'm psyched. Now I want to see it. I think this could be a great superhero film. I have a couple friends that work, I wouldn't say in the industry, but they work for websites. They've already seen it, and they claim it's fantastic. So I am very excited to see it. I do not want to see it with the Walmart shoppers on that Thursday screening, but I definitely want to see it.
Hell no.
I'm to the point where I'm just not even wanting to look at trailers anymore, even ones I've already seen. Like, I feel like I'm seeing too much. I want to go into it not knowing anything more whatsoever. It's looking so good.
Well,
it's looking really good.
Honestly, when you walk in, most people are going to know the basic plot.
Yeah.
You kind of get the gist of it. So why would you want to know any more than that?
But I'll bet you, like, a lot of people didn't know, like, the symbol isn't an S and that kind of stuff. I mean, there's going to be...
Yeah, I don't even know if that was in the original Superman movies. I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about that. I don't even remember that, if that was a thing in the comic books. I mean, that may be something that Snyder created or whatever, but I'm kind of like Scotty here, where after I saw a certain trailer, it got me hyped, and I'm like, okay, bam, I'm sequestering myself from any more trailers and featurettes and anything like that. I don't want to see any more. I want to be surprised by this movie. And that, as I've mentioned before, that was probably the most perfect trailer I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. And that, like you said earlier, that did it right. And it shows you stuff. You see the flashy scenes, you see the neat stuff. It tells you a little bit about the plot, but it doesn't reveal the whole plot, the whole story. And, oh, God, I'm so excited to see this.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a TV spot that had one shot in it that I had never seen before, and it was just a real quick one, but for some reason it hit me really hard. It was just an image of him hovering in the air about 20 or 30 feet up in front of all those military guys, and he's just standing in the middle of the air with his cape just kind of fluttering behind him. And it's that kind of imagery of Superman being Superman that really just gets me excited. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that looks like such a sweet shot. I can't wait to see a longer cut of that in the film. I've been singing this movie's praises for months now. I don't care if I'm sitting amongst the Walmart people. I have got to see this as early as I can. And so next Thursday night, I will be seeing it. And I imagine I'll be seeing it a couple more times that weekend. This movie looks that goddamn good. Heard nothing but good things.
I haven't either.
All right, people. Well, of these three films, The Bling Ring, This Is the End, and Man of Steel, which of them will you be most likely to see come next weekend, Aaron?
Man of Steel. But I really want to see This Is the End, so I will see both.
Well, you got to pick
Man
one.
of Steel. Man of
Brian.
Steel.
Please, Man of Steel.
Scotty?
Man of Steel.
The Bling Ring. Okay. And I'll go Man of Steel as well. So there you go. Clean sweep.
I'm curious. What do you guys think this one's going to make? Because the last one was kind of seen as a disappointment, Superman Returns. How much do you think it's going to make?
Total or
opening weekend? Opening weekend. What do you think it's going to make opening weekend? You think it's going to cross 100 million? 50 million?
I think 150 million.
Holy shit, Brian. Really?
It's going to be probably the biggest one of the year.
Okay. What about you, Scott?
What other movies are department stores selling early tickets for?
No, that's fair, but it would go against none of the other movies have been that popular. You think
none of the others have Superman.
No, I'm saying none of the other Superman movies were that popular. The last Superman movie...
Yeah, but they were 30 years ago, and this last one don't even count.
I'm pretty sure Superman Returns was like 2006.
It doesn't
count.
They struck it from the records. It's the asterisk.
Struck it from the records.
In the annals of
Brandon Ruth just cried.
Money, they said, never mind. Just yeah, we got to put it in here, but it's got an asterisk by it. And at the bottom of the page, it says, doesn't really count.
Brandon Ruth is in his cosplay outfit.
Ralph.
Sorry, Brandon Ralph
Emerald.
is in his cosplay outfit going to Comic-Con right now, and he's crying. Listen to this. Because you just said it got struck. This one claim to fame. Poor guy. What about you, Scott?
I'm sorry.
I'll say break 100, but not 150.
Justin? I'm just curious.
For the opening weekend?
Mm-hmm.
I think $1. $1, Bob. I would say 120.
Okay. I
want it to make more, but I'm afraid people just don't resonate as much with Superman as they do Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And while the Christopher Nolan connection, I think, is going to bring some people in, I'm afraid that some others are just going to be apathetic to the character and just not go, no matter how good it is. But let's hope that the marketing machine can actually get people into the theaters.
Well, I'm guessing about 80 million. I don't think it's going to be... It might have legs, but I don't think it's going to open that.
So you got 80 to 1, 1 to 20, 20 to 50,
There you
150, and then 50, over 150.
Yeah, 150. That's like Pirates of the Caribbean money right there.
If this film leads into the Justice League and he plays Superman in that Justice League, the squee you will hear from me will be heard round the world.
God. And long, I'm sure.
Oh, God, yes.
You can listen and subscribe on iTunes, your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do. And through our RSS feed at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. There's a new episode every Thursday. And please, if you go to iTunes, rate us. We prefer 5 stars, but we'll take 4. Just because ratings help. We appreciate it.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week we play ours or a listener-suggested clip from a movie. And if you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Tweet us or Facebook us the answer, and next week we'll give you a proper host shout-out. And before I get to last week's answer, we had an email from a listener I neglected to read the week prior. And
You're an asshole.
Yeah, I'm an asshole, and I think I heard.
Well, we all
feelings.
knew that, though.
So I am going to read it now. So you are being Dan. You're getting a bonus reading. Episode 94 is what he's referencing, but he says, "Hey guys, why is it I still get a little excited every time I can identify the mystery movie From Dusk Till Dawn? So good for so many reasons." He's right, and plus it was mine, so I don't mind mentioning it again. I still think it is one of George Clooney's best performances, especially since it is so far from his typical roles. At one point, I even had the "Be Cool" soundbite on my answer machine message in college. Yet another great pick. It was actually my message tone for a long time. So every time I got a text message, "Be cool." Everybody be cool. Best foreign movie. Good Morning Vietnam didn't make anyone's list. Which,
yeah, I'm a little ashamed of that.
Yeah. Scott was actually really bummed. He's like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I love that movie, and it covers such great range of emotion. Of course, I can't argue with any of the movies listed, especially when you expand to movies like 300, which he loved. That's Justin's. Thanks for the background on how y'all met. Not quite what I expected with Gears of War, but interesting nonetheless. As always, great episode. Keep it on, gentlemen. Sorry about that, Dan. That's Dan M. Like I told you when I responded, it was most likely Scott's fault.
It usually is.
Always is.
So last week's answer was Justin's, and it was Boiler Room.
Great movie. Dan
M. and Greg S. got it correct. So congratulations, guys. This week it is Scott's turn. If you think you know what it is, let us know. Here's your clip.
Who's there? Hey, guys.
Oh, you guys! Where... David? What the hell? I have been worried sick.
Relax, honey. I just took him to the mall to hang out.
The mall closes at 9. It's 12 o'clock.
You stopped off for ice cream.
When the fuck did we get ice cream?
Jeffy, I won't be mad. Just tell me the truth. Where were you guys?
Did you get ice cream?
One.
There's your clip. Jackasses. All right, let's go to the couch to talk about TV and home video news. Matt Smith is officially retiring as Doctor Who. Justin, are you crying?
No, I mean, I like Matt Smith. When he was originally cast as Doctor Who, a lot of people booed because they felt like it was a thinly veiled attempt to get in a younger audience, because Matt Smith is the youngest actor to have ever played the Doctor. But it really didn't take long for people to watch the show and realize, no, he was cast because he's a damn good actor. and he makes a damn good Doctor. He'll have been the Doctor for 4 seasons. He'll be ending his role with the Christmas episode this year. David Tennant played it for 5, I think. Matt Smith will leave the role in much better standing than he did coming into it. I like him. He's no David Tennant, but I have liked his tenure as a Doctor. So I'll be curious to see who they cast next. I know a lot of people have said that they need to get an African American actor to play it, or perhaps a woman to play the Doctor. And I on the surface, I don't have any problems with that. But considering that he is the 11th Doctor and all of them have been white males, at this point to change that would almost be more glaring than to not.
That's when the racist, misogynistic part of you takes over. You're like, no, he should be a white man.
After 11 iterations of the character, to have him suddenly become a different gender or race would seem more of an attempt to get a different kind of audience than getting just a younger guy. I mean, I have no problem. I mean, hell, I'm the guy who thinks Idris Elba should be playing Bond. I have no issue with that. I would just have to wonder how they're going to do it and how they're going to say, now this is why he has become this character, this actor, actress, and not just the usual thing.
Then they could just throw a question mark up at the end of the title. Doctor Who?
Doctor Who? Yeah. I do love the show. I like Matt Smith. I'll be sad to see him go, but curious to see who they bring in next.
All right, well, apparently Will Ferrell's IFC miniseries, The Spoils of Babylon, is locking down quite the cast. Tobey Maguire, Kristen Wiig, Jessica Alba, Haley Joel Osment. I didn't even know he's still alive. And even Val Kilmer, I mean, if he stops eating sandwiches. Anybody interested in this yet?
I don't know what to think of it. It's supposed to be a comedy. Coming from Will Ferrell, I mean, you would expect that. And, of course, with some of the other people like Kristen Wiig and stuff, you've definitely got some good comedy chops there. I honestly don't want to see just about anything with Charlie Sheen in it anymore. I'm curious to see what Haley Joel Osment is like lately now that he's pretty much all grown up. But there are some big-name people like Tim Robbins. I like Val Kilmer, Jessica Alba. I'm really kind of torn. I want to wait till we get a little bit more information on this. But it's just it spans like multiple centuries apparently, following this one family led by the Morehouse family, led by Jonas Morehouse. Goes from like oil fields, boardrooms, battlefields, all kinds of stuff. So this sounds pretty intriguing, but there's only like 6 half-hour episodes. So there's not a whole lot of time to span all that stuff.
Especially with that many actors.
Yeah, that's a lot of actors.
Right.
And it's such a weird mishmash of actors, especially for a comedy.
Yep.
And then you've got, like, the thing I read said Haley Joel Osment plays somebody's evil son. Can you imagine that kid being evil?
Well, yeah, he was creepy as fuck in that movie.
But that was more like I'm a scared child creepy, not like I'm an evil son.
Yeah, he was reaching for a joke, Scott. Fuck.
Really reaching. Really
it's hard to tell with Aaron, though.
There's no reason to be an asshole. That's all I'm saying.
Every day.
Oh, all right. Well, that sounds cool. Let's go to DVD and Blu-ray, Scott.
All right, we're looking for DVD and Blu-ray releases for
Blu-ray
for June 11th.
Blu-ray releases.
As always, you can check out many of our reviews on youtube.com/The Ho Podcast. And we will also be referencing several of the episodes in these. First off is Oz, the Great and Powerful. Directed by Sam Raimi, this prequel to the beloved 1939 classic tells the tale of a small-time magician who is swept away to an enchanted land and forced into a power struggle between 3 witches. Both myself, Justin, all 3 of us, Justin, Aaron, and myself, reviewed this in episode 85. I gave it a 650, Justin gave it a 750, and Aaron gave it an 8. Notice I said magician, not musician.
Oh, is that what they are?
Yes.
Maybe I like my magical acts to have a little rhythm.
Also, Hansel and Gretel, witch hunters. Hansel and Gretel are bounty hunters who track and kill witches all over the world. As the fabled blood moon approaches, the siblings encounter a new form of evil that might hold a secret to their past. Aaron looks like he was the only one that saw this one on episode 78. He gave it a $7 out of 10.
That's interesting because, yeah, he saw it with me.
I did, but you bowed out the following week.
What wasn't all right?
Yeah, so he's right.
Dang, I hate it when he's right.
Maybe if you showed up once in a while.
What would you have given it, Brian?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, probably a good 7.5.
7.5. All right. Next up is Snitch. A father goes undercover for the DEA in order to free his son, who was imprisoned after being set up in a drug deal. It stars The Rock as well as Susan Sarandon. Unfortunately, none of us checked that one out. So,
I wouldn't go
unfortunate.
I would say unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Also coming on disc is House of Cards season 1. That was at Netflix released only originally.
Great
with,
show.
With,
Great show.
Kevin Spacey, and also finally Newsroom. The first season is coming out. Lastly, they just announced a Boondock Saints 2 director's cut with 27 additional minutes is going to be released at apparently only Best Buy. This might be a precursor.
July 16th.
July 16th. Might be a little bit of lead up into part 3, maybe. What do you guys think?
That's what I've heard. I hope. I'm looking forward. I like the second one. I know
That's
a
lot of uncut stuff. 27 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of plot missing from that movie, so maybe they can fill it in.
Hopefully.
I really did not like the second one. I'm willing to give it a second chance with 27 additional minutes. So, like you say, hopefully this kind of fills in some of the gaps. Maybe a little spackle on this cracked wall or whatever.
I feel the same way.
But I just honestly, I can't get over Sean Patrick Flannery and how horrible he looks.
Yeah, he's not holding up, man. I remember when the first movie came out. Oh, he's so sexy, he's so sexy. And then the second one comes, and it's like, oh shit.
Ugh. Who was that? Bruce Jenner?
Bruce Jenner. Oh,
that's Powder, right? Okay.
No, Bruce Jenner is married to the Kardashians' mom.
No, the guy Sean Patrick Flannery played Powder, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And young Indiana Jones.
And he was in the Dead Zone TV show.
He's had some bad face work, and it looks like it's actually aged him about an extra 15 years.
He's done something. I don't know.
That's
Somebody doesn't like him.
Well, with that, we'll move on to recasting the classics. This week it is Aaron's turn, but before we pass it on to him, Justin, can you give us another really quick rundown on what this is?
I like to stress on the really, really quick.
He's like, come on, Justin, get it done.
Yeah, recasting the classics is our segment where one of us hoes hands off to the other one a classic film in which they must recast 4 of its actors with modern actors. They can go far afield, they can stay close. They just have to be able to explain it. Last time I gave Aaron the classic Weird Science. I asked him to recast the characters of Gary Wallace, played by Anthony Michael Hall, Wyatt, Lisa, and Chet. So, Aaron, please do not fail me. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I will have Brian drive over and throat punch you if you fuck this up.
Okay, then.
He is my enforcer.
All right. Well, honestly, I think the guys ogling girls thing has been done to death. Most recently with The Girl Next Door, because that basically is Weird Science for a new day as far as I'm concerned. So I wanted to see a little spin on it, and I know this is a big movie for Justin, so I thought I will tweak it just a little bit so it maintains, that it's a remake, but it makes it a little bit more modern. So instead of Gary and Wyatt, I'm going to make it Mary and Wyatt.
Oh, yes.
But they're still going to keep the sexy woman being perfectly built, but we're introducing modern issues. We're going to have a male and female best friend, both interested in having their own hot chick available. I think that would lead to a more modern setting. It's going to have a lot more topical issues. They can play both sides of the sexes. I think there's a lot that can be done with that.
Okay, you're pissing into the pool a bit much now.
Why is that?
What the fuck are they? They're making 2 people now instead of 1?
No. Still, it's a male and a female best friend.
Oh,
both. But she obviously is gay. He obviously likes just ladies. So for Wyatt,
I was really kind of hoping you were going to have real balls and have 2 women making a guy. But all right,
no, I actually did that at first, and then I just didn't like it because it was too far a stretch, I thought. So for Wyatt, I actually picked, and this is one Brian will know, Isaac Hempstead Wright. He plays Bran on Game of Thrones.
Mm.
He's Bran who went from 12 years old to about 45 years old.
And he's got a Fu Manchu mustache.
Yeah, in the span of a season. But he did another movie called The Awakening, and in that he really, I think, showed a lot of depth. So, what?
That season hiatus was a really rough one for him.
That really was. I mean, he grew. He's a man now. He's
driving. He's always sitting.
He's a
so
bitch.
Yeah.
You can't really see how tall he is.
Rock.
He definitely grew into the part. So I really think he would make a good Wyatt. He's got
You can hear him growing.
He's a straight guy, which is what Wyatt was in the original movie. Mary Abigail Breslin. I know that might sound a little odd. That's Little Miss Sunshine. She was also recently in The Call with Halle Berry. She's a really talented actress. She's got a lot of comedic skills.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. She's got so much range. I think she would be great in this.
Not bad.
My pick for Lisa, which was played by some people called her very sexy. I thought she was just okay. Kelly LeBrock.
Oh no! Back in the day, oh man,
Well, and I want to stress,
I had that door poster.
I had this person picked.
Of her in the blue bikini bottoms
Stop
and
talking.
the white top.
Are you guys just going to keep?
Yes.
Are you all right? You need a minute?
Hold on, we might need a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Well, my pick I had picked long before I went and saw her movie. But Isla Fisher, I had her picked a long time ago. I think she's perfect for it because of her comedic timing, and because I think she's absolutely gorgeous to me. So I don't really care what you think. That's my movie. And Chet for Chet, played by Bill Paxton. You got to have somebody who's a little older, can be a total dick, but also entertaining.
But you're not an actor.
I'm not an actor. Fuck you, Scott. Touche.
Nice.
I cast myself.
Nice. Scott bringing the funny.
So my pick for Chet is Jensen Ackles. He's a co-star on Supernatural. Does a great dick. Just a great dick.
He does a great dick, man.
He does. So that's my cast. That's my Weird Science cast.
Yeah, I like that. Jensen Ackles. He's a funny guy, but he could definitely play a douche.
See, he can cover all bases. And Scott, in 2 weeks, your movie's gonna be Caddyshack.
Ah.
You're gonna recast Ty Webb, played by Chevy Chase, Al Cervic, played by Rodney Dangerfield, Judge Smales, Ted Knight, and of course Carl Spackler, played by Bill fucking Murray. I was almost going to put the groundhog in there, but
I'm all right.
That's your movie.
And he would all be CGI now. He'd be like Gollum and shit.
And I can't cast Bill Murray again.
No, he can't. You can't cast Bill Murray again. Apparently, it's really hard to get him to show up for anything. So now let's go to From the Outside In. This week, the summer season is officially in swing, and we've already had several sequels with several more to come. So that brings to question, what truly makes for a great sequel? What do you guys think makes a great sequel, an improvement, etc.? Scott, why don't you go first? You never get to go first.
No. I think a great sequel is a movie that does enough of what made me like the original while still giving us something fresh that doesn't mess with the original formula too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Like I want what I liked about the first one, but don't mess with it so much that it pisses me off. And like, I don't, how some people get so attached to like an old property that like don't mess with it too much kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. And I get that to some degree. But I still want something new. I don't just want to rehash or a retelling like Hangover 2.
Right. You the first movie you get introduced to the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And you spend that hour and a half to 2 hours meeting these people and learning their backstories and why they are the way they are. They do the things they do, whatever the case is. But then in that sequel, since all of that is laid out, I just want to see those people in a much larger arena. Mm-hmm. I don't want to worry. I want to see them going through their troubles and whatever leaps and bounds they have to jump through over the next over the second hour and a half to 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Building on what was laid out in the first one. I don't need more backstory. I don't need stuff like that. I know who they are. I love them. That's why I'm sitting here for the second movie. Put them out there and just go from there.
Yeah, why wouldn't they slap a 2 on a movie? Do they still... And I understand they're trying to win new audience members and that sort of thing. But sometimes when they do sequels, they spend so much time reintroducing the characters you're already familiar with. Like, I've already seen the first movie. Why do I need to see it again?
Right.
Over again.
Yeah, that's why I'm here the second time.
It's got a 2 on it.
Well, there are always going to be people who are going to come into the second film who haven't been there for the first. So you have to, and plus a lot of people who come to the second one, maybe they didn't rewatch the first one all that recently, and it's been several years since they saw it, and so they've forgotten. You always have to put in a little bit of, here's what happened previously on. But the smart thing to do is to weave it through, like your exposition. Weave it through the story. Don't front load it, and then don't do too much of it. Just do enough to bring people up to speed. I don't have to have every twist and turn, brought back again. Just give me the minimum I need and go.
I don't know. I don't know if you feel sorry for people that are watching a second movie before watching the first, or
Yeah, if it's got a 2, I don't feel very sorry for him.
I mean, I won't go see a second movie without going to renting the first one at least first,
Well, but like y'all kind of blasted me last week. We're not the norm. You and me and the crew here, we go see these movies. We see them multiple times, then we buy them or we rent them. Mm-hmm. A lot of people out there don't do that. And so they have to, they're the people that Hollywood has to, kind of create that basket and carry them with.
I agree with that, but when it has a 2 on it, I still have a hard time feeling sorry for them because they're not, they can read, right? I mean,
and there are those people that walk into a friend's house and go, "Oh, what are you watching? Oh, we got Joe Dirt 3 here."
Oh,
dirtier.
Yeah.
Dirtier.
Joe Dirt in Canada. And, like, oh, I like the first one, but I haven't really seen the second one.
Oh, you got to see the third one to finish out the Joe Dirt trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so that happens. I get that, but that is a very small fraction of moviegoers. Or movie watchers. I gotta feel. So, to me, you just got to suck it up and deal with it.
Look at it
to me,
this way.
It's not worth altering the movie for those one or two people.
If I went and read the second Hunger Games book before watching and then complained about, like, I don't understand, there's not this explanation of what's going on, people that read books regularly would be like, well, you got to read the first one. Why is it when it's film it's okay? Because it's only a 2-hour commitment that it's suddenly
That's an interesting point. I wasn't sure where you're going at first, but now I see where you're at. I agree. I think if it says a 2, it's your own fault. I don't think filmmakers should be expected to reintroduce the characters all over again. Keep it. I mean, yes, I understand bringing you up to speed to like really quick, and I mean quick. There should be less than 5 minutes because I already sat through 2 hours of it. Mm-hmm. If the recent Star Trek, just to make Justin happy to have it mentioned again, if the recent one, because there was a long gap, it was like 4 years between movies. If they retold Spock and Kirk's origin stories, even portions of it again, I probably would have been irritated with it because I got it. I saw the first movie. I don't need to see that. And you know what? Filmgoers, most of them, the reason that the next movie makes more money at the box office opening weekend is because you've got a couple years of people watching that shit on home video or seeing it on TNT, and they're already familiar with it. They don't need a total recap. And if it's got a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or 64 in the title, you know what happened before. So what do you guys think are some of the best sequels, like summer sequels? Stick to your mind, because I can throw right in and say Dark Knight is probably the best sequel I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can't think of a better one.
Because it took a character well established. It didn't give you a whole bunch more fucking background on him, and you just started and then you got to the story like that.
Oh, the one I think did it better was Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
All right, well then hop on my back like Yoda.
I'm riding.
Together we can run. I think Empire Strikes Back did a perfect job of taking a story and carrying it and the characters forward. It didn't do a whole lot of talk about what, they didn't sit around a campfire talking about, wasn't that Death Star explosion great? They just went on with shit. And for me, it's probably the most perfect sequel ever made.
Good argument.
I totally agree. That was it just started out with, hey, it's a little bit later. Here's what's going on, and
Boom.
That was just it just bam. You knew what led up to that, and we're just taking it off, and we're going in this direction. I just thought it was great.
I think Spider-Man 2 was awesome.
I agree. These two bitches are not going to agree with you. I love
really?
Spider-Man 2.
Like I enjoyed the first Spider-Man, and then I remember winning in for the midnight showing of Spider-Man 2. I was I walked out of that theater with my fist pumping in the air with the "Go Get 'Em, Tiger" thing. Like it was. I was
You're like a Jersey guy just walking out, fist pumping.
Oh, hey.
I thought it was great. I liked it a lot better than the first one.
I'm with you. Another one that this is honestly is probably. I don't think it's the best sequel ever made, but it's probably my favorite sequel. and that's Lethal Weapon 2. Honestly, if you saw the Lethal Weapon, it takes the characters that you're familiar with, right? And when it came out, it's a totally and tonally different kind of movie. The first movie is very dark, and Brian, I know you've seen this one 1,000 times. Very dark, very gritty. It's a crime thriller. The second one is just fun as shit, and it takes it to the nth degree. I mean, they basically forgot Mel Gibson's character was even suicidal in that movie. They're like, oh, he's better. He's good.
Hey, you can accredit that all to Danny Glover.
Well, hey, when you got a big, strong black man taking care of you.
Is that the diplomatic immunity one?
Yeah, that's just been revoked.
Just been revoked.
And they added one character, which is Joe Pesci, who worked perfect with their mix. You know, okay, that guy. And they just, I mean, the whole movie, I've seen that movie probably 100 times, and I can still watch it and enjoy it from start to finish because they did it right. They started the movie and they realized you already know who his characters are. They're already on a huge chase. They don't need to reintroduce you. But you still see how their lives are because they go through them throughout the investigation pretty much. So, I mean, you know, Murtaugh stops at his house, and so you see his wife again, and you see the stuff going on, and it doesn't make it reintroducing the characters so much as you're part of it. You're part of the movie. I love that sequel. That's just one of my favorites.
I think probably my favorites would end up on a lot of people's worst, and I guess that just shows how bad my taste is. But Chronicles of Riddick, I think, is an incredible sequel in that universe. It takes the character of Riddick, it takes that universe that they just started creating and then blew it up into something much bigger, much more operatic and dramatic than it was before. And for me, it worked like gangbusters. I love it when a small story suddenly gets a much larger stage to be told on, and really, really a great job. And this is going to piss off a lot of people, and I really don't give a shit. I think Matrix Reloaded is better than The Matrix.
What?
I think it takes everything that The Matrix did and dials it up a couple more notches in all the good ways possible. I think the story is better. I love what the Wachowskis did.
Is this thing on? Did I hear him right?
This is classic evidence of why you shouldn't do drugs.
They take the Matrix idea of this digital creation, a world destroyed and humanity held captive by an artificial intelligence, but then moves it in so many bold directions. These aren't just emotionless programs and machines. There's all sorts of intricacies and complexities in those characters, and there's a rich history that we suddenly get access to, you know, that if we had known in the first film that Neo wasn't the first Neo of sorts, but just, you know, one in a number. I love Matrix Reload. When I saw it, I'm like Scotty, when I came out of the theater, I was just fist pumping because it took everything I love and made it even better. And I think it's better than the first film, and a lot of people disagree with me with that, and that's fine. But it did everything I want a sequel to do.
Such a rebel.
You know, that's what I do. I don't tailor my life to suit the masses.
I wish you would on that one because I don't get that. I mean, I'm glad you loved it. Sincerely, I'm glad you loved it because I walked out of there throwing shit. So that would be on my worst sequel.
So good. And what it really did, and what I love most, is that it challenged the audience
to stay in the theater for the entirety.
It said, here is a deeper story. We're not going to spoon feed you everything. Come along with us if you can grok it. And if you can't, well, I'm sorry. But if you can, we're going to take you on a hell of a ride. And I love a story that challenges me to understand really the fullness of the complexity of what's going on. And when I watched a lot of the ancillary stuff available in the DVDs, it really just blew me away how much I did get, but how much I didn't. But now that I see it in a larger context, I'm like, wow, there was so much more there than even I realized. And it's beautiful, and screw it. I don't care what the haters say. It's magnificent.
I tell you, nothing sends me into deep contemplation more than watching a woman via the Matrix have an orgasm.
I'm telling you.
In that dinner scene. So,
Oh, it was so deep. There
was complexity there,
There's
but
deeper
if all
layers.
you saw was the orgasm, then
And
you
I'm
missed
so glad that the person they chose to bring those complexities to the surface was Keanu Reeves.
He did a fucking fantastic job. I mean, he was practically born for that role.
He was born
That-
for facelessness, yes.
that avatar of the people. Yeah.
What about you, Brian? What do you
We could fucking argue this all day if you'd like. Let's do an after
We're
dark.
not arguing. We're actually making fun of you.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Because you're all fucking idiots who didn't get it.
Oh.
That's what I'm sticking to.
There's
Oh,
Trump call.
he's going to
No,
try
no,
the...
no. I will admit I didn't get it. I did not get that ending. I watched it 4 times.
I don't realize they didn't get it. And that's okay.
I
That's
got
all-
it, and I just thought it was
That's-
stupid.
You did. You thought you got it, but you didn't.
No, I got it. It's fucking stupid. It's just not good. You could defend it all day. It ain't going to make it better.
Keep on hating Shakespeare, and you can hate the Wachowskis. They're both better than you will ever be. So suck my nut.
Just one of them.
Just
Right.
one of them.
Well,
What
you
about the
don't get-
worst? What are the worst sequels? Summer sequels.
Oh God, Highlander 2.
That was
you
on my list.
Fucking piece of shit. Don't take one of my favorite movies of all time, drag it into an alley, dry anally rape it, and then leave it there bleeding in its own pile of jizz. That film
Jesus, man.
offended me on just about every level, and I refuse. I almost wish I could take that part of my brain out that knows it exists and dispose of it.
You probably didn't get it.
Probably didn't.
I don't know if mine came out in the summer, but Rocky V was one of the most god awful boring movies, especially after the phenomenal Rocky IV, which is like my favorite in the series. Rocky V was
Is that
just
the one where he had his kid?
yeah, and it was like a street fighting.
Oh, yeah. His
Instead
kid was
of-
awful, right?
Yeah,
An awful
it
actor.
just- it was so boring. I mean, the first Rocky movie is boring. Don't get me wrong, but I can still watch that one because it actually
First Rocky movie is a classic. You shut your whore mouth.
it's boring. I don't care. It is long and drawn out and boring. But I Rocky V was worse. It just was silly. It was so unnecessary.
Ocean's 12. I love Ocean's 11 so much. Ocean's 12 was just really a major letdown.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it kind of picked back up with Ocean's 13, but still neither one really lived up to Ocean's 11. But Ocean's 12 was a major disappointment after all the little subtle jokes and little story pieces with Ocean's 11. 12 was just very lackluster.
I felt like a comedy of errors kind of thing, like just whoopie doopie doop. Like
Yeah, it felt like they were trying to make it different. Like, it almost felt like they were going for a comedy, and then they decided halfway through not to do it. They realized it wasn't going to work, so they just stopped. Well, let's go back to the other one. And then they came back with Ocean's 13, which is great. That movie was a lot of fun. I don't know why they couldn't do that in the second one.
The nose plays.
Any other ones?
Caddyshack 2. It's fucking horrible.
Brian, I'm sorry I talk so much. And I'm sorry Aaron fucking forgot you existed.
I didn't. I
Oh,
asked
no,
for
that's yeah. You actually, no. You say, oh, no, you didn't. Hey, what do you think? Moving on.
Did you have any favorites you would like to share? We'd love
I
to
don't
hear them.
fucking care anymore. Let's move on.
Oh, okay. Well, my worst would be The Matrix Reloaded and Batman and Robin. I don't know how that movie happened. I don't know how somebody in the studio was watching production on that and just said, this seems good. I like it. I like where they're going with this. They're making a $100 million version of the TV show.
I bet if Brian had been allowed to speak, he would have mentioned Aliens as a fantastic sequel.
You might have. Or maybe Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Would you mention that one? Because that was a great sequel, too.
You're kind of alone in that one.
yeah, I'm not.
Most people put that at the bottom. Well, no, now Crystal Skull's at the bottom, giving
That's
Temple
right.
of Doom a little buffer, but
I'm sorry. That movie was so much fucking fun when it came out, and you went to
we
the
didn't
theater.
get it.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. All right, let's go to some of our listeners on Facebook. Justin V says these are some of their worst summer sequels. Ghostbusters 2. How do we forget that one? And also, he said Terminator 2 was awesome right after high school. I don't know.
Oh, that is a really good sequel. Yeah.
That was a great sequel. Scott M. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Worst or
Worst. This
Okay.
is worst. The rest are worst. Batman
It
and
was
Robin.
terrible.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Monopoly guy thing was really funny. Oh, the Monopoly guy. Batman and Robin, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Jaws 3D. I actually saw that in the theater. That was so awful. That shark coming at you, people think that'd be great. A shark's coming at you in 3D. But it took like an hour and a half. It was like watching Mission Impossible 2 when those two were trying to get to each other. It took an hour and a half for that shark to actually come anywhere near your face. It was awful. Lost World Jurassic Park 2, I disagree with that, sir. I thought that was a good movie until the last 5 minutes. Either of the Matrix sequels, such a letdown, he must not have gotten it. Thanks, everybody, for writing in. Now let's go to emails. Okay, and like I said last week, anybody that likes us on Facebook, we'll mention you on the show, so here we go.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Grab onto your oh shit handles.
Thanks for liking us. Diane Tagle, Juliana Rourke, Amanda Clark, Melo Herrera, Kat Santos, Jacob Searles, Adam Hallowell, June Catchbowl, Harminder Singh, Ed Murner, Julie Grogan, Gary Rollins, Johnny Farron, Ryan Rowe, Joseph McDade, Natalie Hermitage, and Gina Halfman. Thanks, guys, for liking us. That was a lot. But
Justin fell asleep.
He did. That's all right.
What?
Don't worry, Justin. It's still not as long as you talk. So let's
no.
go to email. Justin, you got the first one.
All right, this email comes from Dan. He says, a cold and bitter tear runs down my cheek as I type this. I was emotionally devastated when I didn't get my shout out for identifying From Dusk Till Dawn, and then my heart shattered when my email wasn't read at the end. What had I done to warrant such cruel and debilitating treatment? Had I insulted them, hurt their feeling? Was my email not witty enough? Why had they cut me off? All right, maybe not. I'm not quite that distraught, but I was puzzled as to why my email never made it. Fucking spam filters. Anyway, another great episode. Boiler Room is this week's episode. A movie I really enjoyed, but few I talked to have seen it. Hope this makes the cut. Thanks, Dan. Dan, it sure did, and blame Aaron. He hurts a lot of people, and he's so fucking cruel. He doesn't even know when he does it. And then when you bring it to his attention, he just gets even shittier.
Scott.
He'll just tell you to brush it off. Rub some dirt on it. Be a man.
Man up. Scott.
How his children lasted, I don't know.
They're tougher than you.
We've got a tweet from D.A. Cheney, and she says, haha, I just laughed out loud at Aaron's Let's Go to Crunchy Field. I find it funny that I haven't seen Magic Mike, but you guys talk about it for one actor or another that I wanted to more than I did. Just for gender clarification, I'm a she. Thanks, Aaron. All good. Thanks for the answer.
See? I told you. It's a she. She's a she.
She's a she.
She's a she.
Thank you, D.A. Cheney.
And that's the Crunchy Field when we were talking about Stalingrad. And Brian told us the most depressing history lesson ever. And Mr. Anyone tweeted, Shakespeare can't be cliched. Predates all cliches. Those movies you like, a lot of them ripped off from Shakespeare.
Thank you.
Actually, I was referring to the modern takes on Shakespeare. So, no, it actually doesn't apply. So if I didn't word it right, sure enough.
Well, no, what we were talking about was why you hate Shakespeare, and you did say that you hated Shakespeare because he's cliched.
He is cliched now.
No, he is not cliched.
Jesus
He
fucking
created
Christ.
the cliche.
Listen, I don't like Shakespeare. I don't care that you like Shakespeare. I don't care who likes Shakespeare. Shakespeare is annoying and boring. He's
but
not
hate it
interesting.
for the right reasons, and hating him because he's cliched.
Modern
is not an
film
appropriate
takes,
reason.
modern film takes on Shakespeare are very cliched. There's
Then
been about
say
1,000 of them. I just said if I worded it wrong.
Yeah, you
then
just said it now. You didn't say it last week.
Well, that's why I'm clarifying now. That now, if I worded it
now's
wrong,
a little too late.
Oh, shut
up. Now's not then. Then is then.
Brian.
Yes, one of our favorite listeners, Sue. She's been a little bit under the weather, so we just want to wish her a well wishes, and our thoughts are with you. And I hope you get better soon. So get better there, Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea. And we had one that just came in. Hey guys, love the show and haven't written before. Might not write again. I don't know what that means.
It is a threat.
wanted to suggest a topic. How about actors that should have been bigger, as in they were everything a movie star should be, but just picked the wrong projects? I like it. You guys want to do it next week?
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, since shut up, Justin. He's trying to fuel the fire. Anyway, since I'm writing about this last episode, Justin, normally your comments at Aaron or Scott's expense have me in stitches. Har har. But this week, when Aaron seemed to be going against better judgment and getting personal, and you mocked him at the end, honestly, that was tacky. Thankfully, everyone's had their moments, but that was kind of a deep segment, and as sensitive as you seem to be to every issue that isn't movies you don't like. That seemed ill-timed. Still, you and he have a good yin-yang vibe, so I'm sure it was all in good fun. Only saying how it sounded. I'm still buying your next book. Don't worry. Well,
Thank you.
She knows how to get to him. Yes. I took it as him trying to lighten the mood because it was being serious. But
try to keep a light mood most of the time.
But thanks for having my back. I appreciate it. Scott, I like your every guy thoughts. I get you because you don't remember all this stuff like the other three guys do, which neither do I. Still, you're too sensitive, or that's how it seems listening. A couple months, and I can tell you Brian and Aaron get picked on more than you. I agree, jackass. So shut up and stop being a baby. Man up. That's what we say. Walk it off, rub some dirt on it. As for Brian, keep bringing that sweet pause, southern pause thing. You have that great way of getting a little one-liner in just the right time. Sometimes I shout, why didn't Brian get that one? Yes, Brian is our little photobomber. Really enjoyed the after hours thing. The most recent one, things seemed a little off their game at the beginning, but once it got rolling, you guys were flowing. It was very interesting. It was really cool to get that extra episode every couple of weeks. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks, guys, for doing this show. It's really fun, and I look forward to it every week. Hose for life, Vanilla. Thank you. That was very nice. And Justin is a dick.
Nice, baby.
You can
We want to keep her as a listener, man.
stay to the credits for outtakes. Go to thehollywoodoutsider.com or Twitter, H_outsider, Facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. I'm getting through it. Leave us a message or text us at 818-814-6426. Email us feedback at thehollywoodoutsider.com. Listen and subscribe for free on iTunes. It don't cost you nothing. It's much ado. Listen on your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up or through our RSS feed. As well as RockfordCollegeRadio.com, Thursdays from 4 to 6. Thanks to you guys for being here. Justin McCumber.
Thank you, Aaron, for having me on. Sorry if I talk too much and poke fun at too many people. Fucking man up. Unless I offended you, and then I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry unless I offended you. Brian Williams.
I enjoyed it, man.
And Scott Clark.
Word to your mother.
Oh, God.
Rolling.
And remember, guys, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn. It'll be 45.
The way you ramble, I am concise and to the point.
Yes. Of all four of us, you are the most concise and to the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But see, that point is a giant marker about the size of
San
a
Francisco.
Blame it on the rain. Yeah,
That sounds pre-recorded.
Yeah.
It's definitely pre-recorded.
What was the other Billy Vanilli song?
They had another one?
Girl, you know it's true.
Girl, you
there
know.
You
Ooh,
no, there.
ooh,
That's
ooh.
the one I was thinking of. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I love you.
Whoa.
We should take this act on the road, man.
I'm telling you.
Yep, there'd be empty theaters across the country.
The hicks sing the hits.
This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly movie and TV podcast with a new episode every Thursday. And this week we are looking at upcoming releases. Shut up, Scott. Man of Steel.
I just farted. Did that make it in?
God damn it.
You're like let's see, Man of Steel, this is the end.
Don't look at me,
Quick,
Scott!
quick, before somebody laughs.
God damn it!